Amahoro, bonjour, shalom, hello. My name is Dedo Ba. I'm the Director of Innovation at Segal Family Foundation, one of the supporters, partner, and champion of Princeton in Africa. And I personally have always admired the leadership and commitment to service of this community, not only in the boardroom and on the field, but also on the dance floor. This has continued to be exemplified by some of my colleagues who are former Princeton in Africa fellows, but also with a special bond that grew out of the dance floor in Uganda a couple of years ago between me and Jody. And when Jody asked me to come share this space with you, I wondered what a boy from Burundi who now lives in Malawi could possibly share with this community. But I also remembered that this year has been very particular in its way of being an equalizer for all of us. The current pandemic has affected all of us, some more than the others, but certainly offering us a place for reflections and imagination. And moments like this taste our resilience. If nothing, this year has been about reflections on what is essential. For me, that is a continuous existential question around the place for communities and people and how we build strong, resilient economies around them. And also remembering that it's not always about the money, but it's about the depth of our relationships, which is what we're all here to create and to start and to build on. And I wanted to share a couple of stories. When this pandemic started, early March, in my part of the world, we have seen expatriates leave because they were unsure, they were uncertain of how the pandemic was going to affect the continent. But we have also seen innovators off the beaten path step up and propose intersectional solutions to this intersectional crisis. From community health workers program aimed at keeping transmission low, to technologies building solid local value chain and agriculture and education programs figuring out what business continuity could look like. So I wanted to share today a few with you. I wanted to talk about Mercy, a nurse running a community health workers program in Malawi with a budget of less than $70,000 a year and serving over 2,000 patients a month. During the pandemic, she figured before anyone did that decongesting health centers was going to be the way to keep transmission low because there's only 5% of the population in Malawi that can afford healthcare through hospital and clinics. I wanted to talk about Ko, an agripreneur who saw an opportunity to assure and reinvest in safety of smallholder farmers to step up when borders close, because he knew that Malawi's economy is built on huge imports of basic commodity, and working with the farmers to produce the food that the Malawian community was going to need, and really thinking about how to rebuild the local economies. I also wanted to share about Willie, committed to providing affordable, quality education, serves over 40 schools across Malawi with teacher training programming. And during this pandemic, he figured that education was going to be hard to be assessed by people living in the last miles and the ones with the less opportunities and less financial muscle to afford education through technology or through internet. He set up interactive radio program to be able to continue to provide learning and impact knowledge to students. Now it's being almost deployed in the entire country. What do these entrepreneurs have in common? They have long and high-touch relationship with their communities. They are from those communities that they serve. They have the trust required to gather information, to suggest solutions, and move the needle, and activate systems to deliver essential services. And what have we learned? And what have we seen work? Rely on leaders with lived experience. Grassroots response, strategy, and approach make other types of response stick, practical and sustainable, because people who are close to the problem should be close to the solution. Second, we have seen people challenging funders. Oftentimes, funders don't need to understand in order to fund. We can deploy capital and learn as we go to avoid making a response confusing, messy, and oftentimes too late. Local entrepreneurs and innovators get the short end of the stick. We have to question money that goes to larger INGOs. I wanted to leave this statistic with you. Only 2% of all international development funding goes to leaders and visionaries who are from the places that they work. The last thing, listen and learn. Listen to communities we seek to serve. They have all the solutions, but they lack the resources to activate change. As I close my time with you, I have a simple question for you. At this point of disruption and reimagining and rebuilding, what role are you going to play?